So Rushen is a Tibetan word that means separating samsara and nirvana, separating our confused condition and our free condition, liberated condition. And Rushen is known by, in Hindu yogas, they speak of Kriyas, physical Kriyas, or Kundalini Kriyas, or spontaneous movements. And in Dr. David Berceli, who is an American psychologist, he calls it trauma releasing exercise, TRE. TRE is very popular nowadays. Although if we think of spontaneous kriyas as taught in Hindu yogas and in Rushen, which is a Dzogchen preliminary exercise of the taught in the Dzogchen lineages, TRE seems a bit limited because it only seems to cover, as far as I know, like a chaotic movement. So it is really common for all kinds of practitioners of different yogas, physical yogas, breath work, pranayama, people who chant mantras, and people who meditate, that they start experiencing something like that. It is really, really common. It happens if you go to any yoga studio or meditation session and attend a few sessions, you will see that happening to somebody. So the way how I understand it is that when we first start doing it, it comes out as something chaotic, something samsaric. And actually, traditionally, the way how we do it in Open Heart is that we learn to start that however it starts, we learn to ignite that spontaneous shaking, twitching, spontaneous stretches. However, we learn to start it and just let it come. Traditionally, when a Dzogchen Lama teaches that, they give an instruction they talk about beings of the 6 realms, the ones that I was talking yesterday, the 6 basic realms of Buddhism: gods, demons, hungry ghosts, animals, humans, and what's the 6th one? Power beings. So the way how it's traditionally done is that you consider, for example, you imitate being a god, an almighty god, and you just act and play it out. Or you imitate being a demon or a hungry ghost. You just you start from somewhere, you imagine how a hungry ghost with many addictions and needs, how that might feel, and you act it out physically and also through voice. So that's how it's traditionally done. You go through these 6 realms, 6 kinds of beings, through your own physical human being. So the way how we do it is slightly different, but it's the same, because as you know, when you start doing it, sometimes it can be just neutral shaking of physical tension, something like this, just releasing physical tension. But sometimes it hits something like a emotion of anger. You're doing like this, which is like a demon-like condition. Sometimes you feel like really serene and happy, like angel-like condition. So you go through these different kinds of emotional states. right? So this is the starting point, the way how I see and the way how I teach Rushen. From there, depending how much you practice it, and of course, I need to mention here that Rushen is not going to a trance. It is not going into some trance state where you don't know what you're doing. It is not channeling. It is not channeling of any kinds of beings or Buddhas. It is not channeling. So as we are talking about a Dzogchen practice, a practice that is firmly based and grounded on the recognition of the knowing awareness, that's the key point. So whatever your body is doing, whatever you are grunting or voicing or doing physically, you're completely aware of it. That basic knowing is there all the time. This is a really important point. So yeah, in the beginning, chaotic movements, samsaric movements, letting the samsaric mind work itself out through movement and voice, sound. But then it starts to develop little by little. And I think that it is so for both practitioners of non-tantric as well as tantric practitioners. It starts to harmonize. It starts to come out as harmonious movements. It is no longer this, no longer a mess. It starts to take form. And it can be like calm, peaceful form that I'm doing now, or it can be something, dynamic. But it's no longer, samsaric. It takes the form of wrathful, dynamic expression of awareness. So, as open heart practitioners, we practice Tantra, our main practice, which means using mantras of different deities. Peaceful, wrathful, compassionate, and passionate deities. And so when you practice to some point, this starts to happen. These deities, their expression starts to come through in your Rushen practice. Maybe it happens to someone already. We have several members in our Sangha who have gotten to that state. Most of them are Finns who have done it for a couple of years or more. So you might start doing like temple dances, Tai Chi type movements, Qigong type movements. You all have seen images of tantric deities. They have some postures, they have certain kind of expressions that starts to come through. Personally, myself, I have practiced both Hindu deities and Buddhist deities, still do practice both. And in my own Rushen, either of them can come out, deities that I cultivate. So what does it mean then, what the deities are? So the deities are not gods like we commonly think. They are not gods. They are archetypes of our own mind. They are the wisdom and compassion and kindness and dynamicness, wrathfulness of our true being, of ourselves. Not in the samsaric mode, but in the liberated mode. So what it means is that the more we mature in our practice, we don't become blank-minded. It's just that our mind and our expression of our mind becomes clearer and clearer, free of the sense of self. This I was talking about yesterday. So that's what Rushen is. Okay? So yeah, these tantric deities are not gods, and as I said, it is not channeling of any divine energy or gods or something like that. It's not going to trance. That basic knowing awareness stays the whole time. Maybe it's a good pointer for you to say that when you practice open heart yoga or those deities in open heart yoga, yesterday we did a little bit workshopping on the three basic characteristics of the natural state: knowingness, and aliveness, and stability. So the second one, aliveness and knowingness, those we spent a little time yesterday. So when you practice a deity, you can do this. When you feel the energy of any of those deities, or all of them at the same time, see if there's the same knowingness is there. This is how you make the connection. This is how you understand that these deities are not external to you. They are you. And this is a very, very important discovery to make.
Surely if the knowingness... Can you just repeat that? Sorry, Mike. Can you just repeat that? When you're in the knowingness?
So the basic knowing, right? When you are experiencing the energies in open heart yoga, or when you are doing guru yoga, or when you are doing any of the deities one by one from open heart yoga deity list. So you are feeling that energy, that aliveness. See if the same knowingness, knowing quality is in that energy. Because that, yesterday we were talking about the knowingness of surrounding nature and beings, all sentient beings that are around us. We were talking about that knowingness, knowingness of that aliveness, aliveness of life itself, that same knowingness.
Yeah, I don't quite get the link between the statement that this is how you know it's internal because they are different.
Sorry, this is what you know what?
I don't quite get that logic. You're saying that this is how we know that the deities are internal because they are different. You know, I mean, surely if they're different.
No, I said that they are not different from your own mind.
That's what I mean. But yet, your experience of different deities, the knowingness that arises from different deities is different.
No, the same knowingness is there.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry, I thought you suggested that.
One thing that I forgot to mention about how Rushen can also come about is pranayama, different kind of breathing. So you might do this twitching, shaking, something like this, or it might come out as different kinds of breathing exercises. Just so you know, something to give you for your practice.